welcome to tonight's meeting of the Armada Village Council. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ready?
Yep.
Shaw.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Conan.
Here.
Adair. Here. Stirrett.
Here.
Barzak. Here. Belkey.
Here.
You've had a chance to look at the agenda. Is there anything we need to remove, or did I get a motion?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion by Clark, supported by Shaw. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion's approved. Okay, are there any citizen comments? Okay, no citizen comments, no presentations, administrative reports. Who would like to start?
I don't have anything for planning commission,
You don't have anything?
other than you've got the ordinance, the change of the zoning ordinance in front of you, the packet.
Yeah, we'll be going into that. Ross, looks like you're ready.
Yeah. Amy has requested support by our grant writer, so Amy, I did send you guys a note. Just, has Grace contacted you yet?
I got email from her today.
Okay, good, I'll let you guys do what you gotta do. Lead copper testing in the village is done, meets the Eagle requirement. A little bit tougher this year for some particular reason, but it is done. We've sent out the initial batch of notification letters to the participants that were done earlier. We've got 3 or 4 that we've just recently got their samples, and so those will go out a little bit later, but it's, the testing is done. We've done 113 of the 134 hydrovacing sites, 21 remain. The hydrovac truck is got a busted part, happens, and as soon as they're back up and running, we'll get the remaining 21 done. Telco did ask that we give them a progress payment, so that's in the schedule of bills, so we did that. Contracts for the reliability and hydrological studies are signed. Thank you, Jeff, for your help on that, and we're starting next week with some pumpage tests, and then I'm starting to work with Michelle. Michelle, I won't say a bunch about it, I'll let you bring it up, but
Oh, no, you can talk about it, it's fine.
okay. Michelle had put $20,000 in the general fund budget this year for 4 corner signage. That's the entryways to the village. First step in my mind is to send out letters and confirm that people will allow that signage to stay where it is. I've already got one person without even sending a letter that said, yep, it's good. So we got to get those out. Michelle's got.
We want that in writing from them also.
We'll have a contract for them to sign.
Yeah. Well, we need to, Jeff needs to participate to come up with a simple use agreement on it. We'll discuss it probably more. One of the things we're looking at, Jeff, is not allowing any civic, social, church, any signage. It's just village signage. Anything that the village wants to put up, like the Purple Heart Community or the Clinton River Watershed or planning and zoning stuff, we can put it up. We're not going to let anybody else do it. It's most of the signage out there now is the organizations are gone.
But I also think that it's along those lines, we have to keep in mind, it's not our property, so we have to be a little more conservative, because we don't know if that property owner agrees with what those signs are. So
Absolutely.
it's better, if they're saying, yeah, I'm okay with the village, they may not be, with some charitable group, who knows? But we're gonna be at their mercy to let us come on there, so I don't think we can, you know.
Yeah, well, you've talked about it in the
Yep.
past, some of the difficulties, and so we're trying to reduce the shot group a little bit
Right.
so that we don't have those concerns that you had, so you're on point. Just that Michelle and I are starting to work on it, and I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Police action report.
Yep, go ahead, go.
Okay, the police action report for July, traffic tickets issued was 21. Assist Armada Township Fire inside the village, 7. Assist other agencies, 2. Macomb County Sheriff in the Armada Township. Suspicious situations, 2. Civil disputes, none. Dog or animal complaints, none. Disturbances, none. Alarm or open door, we had 2. Domestic disturbance, 1. A lockout, 0. Death investigation, 0. Juvenile related issues, 2. Damaged property, 1. Mental distress situations, 0. Warrant arrest, 0. Miscellaneous calls for service, 6. Missing persons, 0. Lost and found property, 1. Theft, 0. Retail fraud, 0. Internet fraud, 0. Motor vehicle accidents, 2. As of July 31st, 2024, the miles on patrol car 431 equal 104,327 miles. On 432, the F-150 equals 39,871 miles. Car number 433, the unmarked Dodge, equals 64,127 miles. All Armada officers have completed their state-required NPOL firearms requirement for 2024. The TASER training was held July 27th, if you remember that got postponed a bit, at the police station. 12 officers completed the training and received and signed for the new TASER policy. The chief has updated the complete issue of force policy along with creating a use of force report. They are currently with the village attorney for review. There will be another TASER training day on August 10th at the police station for those who could not make the July training.
Joe, just a comment. I want to thank you and Chief for sending a couple officers over to the polling places this last Tuesday for the elections. We had guys come in several times, which was great. I worked precinct 1, and you know, we get people that come in that precinct 1 is the school. They want to bring firearms in there, and you can't bring firearms into a school. And so it's just confidence builder when the people working the polls see the police officers show up. And so you did that both in precinct 1 and 2. And
We should be at precinct 2.
who are they going to call if somebody comes in and starts?
I don't know, but they're not paying for the police officer. They're not
No,
paying
no,
for
they're
police
not.
coverage,
No, they're not.
which we gladly give them,
Give dispatch. Yeah, they get dispatch.
okay?
Well,
You're welcome.
it's too late if you got a dispatch, if somebody brings a
Yeah.
firearm in there.
Well-
So, all right. Got another election coming up, got to decide what you want to do with it. All right.
Well, you gotta remember, when you arbitrarily send the police out of town, the people who are paying the bill are not getting coverage. And, of course, if we're asked for an emergency situation by the state police or sheriff's department, we'll always go, but we can't just be going out for, you know, it's too bad, but the township won't pay any of that bill. That's their decision.
Maybe they'll
So-
change their mind now.
Well,
So,
maybe, but.
again, it's a confidence builder, and if you don't want them going out to the senior center, which is like 30 seconds outside of town, to check on the election workers out there trying to do their duty, that's fine.
Right, and probably if they're willing to pay for it, we'd be glad to do that 30 seconds.
Well, I'll
But
ask
anyhow,
them to do it next time. Pay for it.
so, Mike, you have something?
Yeah, I do. You have the F&D report. Do you want me to read it, or has everyone got it?
Just don't
We got
read
it.
Verbatim. There were no call-outs in June.
Please don't.
The report was late. I did follow up with Jacob the other day. They did have a call-out in the last month. We had, I think, 1.4 inches of rain one day. I think we all know we've gotten a lot of rain. So they had some high flows. On Thursday night, Friday morning, Jacob showed up at the plant, the generator was running. There's no alarm that signaled that it switched over to the generator. There was a blown fuse in the transformer or something, I don't know. It's happened before, an electrician was called out and they fixed the problem. So later on, you have something of mine on the agenda. My hope, and I don't know if it will, is maybe it can be written into the code to signal, hey, the generator's on. Because I think they should know that, because then maybe somebody would have come to make sure maybe it runs out of gas. But the good thing is that it went smooth, the generator kicked in, and the plant was still running. No problems at all with the generator to supply enough electricity. And I think that was it for my update.
Okay. Steve?
I've
any-
got some update on the dump truck situation. I know we talked about the price of what it was cost to fix, and we also threw out the price kind of what it was gonna run to get it if we were to order a new one. Larry's has given us a better quote. They literally went through everything to see what they could save, because that other price was to just like kind of replace everything, which was upwards of $18,000. Now the quote is down to $12,789. And this is kind of an emergency situation. The president and myself have kind of been following up with this, and I think we're gonna go ahead and have them fix that. It's gonna buy us a few more years. Even Larry said, you know, you're still gonna be needing the truck, you know, 3 or 4 more years. But Dave needs a truck now because the other dump truck's got the chipper box on it. He can't do certain things unless he wants to take that on and off, and it's a pain. And even though this is August, if we were to order that new truck, there's no guarantee that it would be ready come snow season. So with this kind of an emergency situation, we're gonna go ahead and have Larry's fix the old truck, so, just to let everybody know. But be prepared, in the next couple of years, you're gonna be buying a new truck at least $150,000, if not more.
How long did we wait for the one, for the police car, the truck that never came?
Yeah,
Never came.
so that's all I've got on the dump truck situation, so.
Amy?
Just real quick, I don't have a lot, I just got an email today from Paul from Rowe, that Talto plans to start First and Simon Street on September 20th, which is a Friday, which he thought was kind of strange, but he thought they were probably gonna just set up Friday and then possibly start on Monday, the 23rd, I think it is. So, he's working up a notice to proceed for me to sign, so I will present that at the next meeting or figure out what I have to do with that. So, you know, just get the ball rolling, but that's what they're looking for, and they're thinking it's gonna take about 5.5 weeks, so.
I would say, you know, obviously, it's really important to the residents on those 2 streets, so I don't know if road does that, but somebody needs to make sure road access, where to park, and
Okay.
sometimes mail is effective. You know, they sometimes,
Oh.
if you can't get down the street.
And garbage pickup.
And garbage pickup. So those are the things that you want to have a very clear conversation with Roe, how you're going to handle mail, garbage, parking, accessing their houses, because it can, if you don't communicate,
Disruptive.
it's going to be rough couple meetings. Hopefully I won't be at one of these.
The post office is already.
Maybe I won't be there either.
No, but if you tell people ahead of time, it
Yeah.
goes much better.
The post office is aware of it, now that we have a firm date, we can let them know. Yeah, because they've been asking, okay, sounds good. And that's it.
Is there anything, any other administrative reports? Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda, payment of the bills and special event application for the Iron Mike Foundation, which they were late in getting that to us.
It's already happened, hasn't it?
Yeah, but they brought it in.
Yeah.
Better late than never.
We took it on ourselves to approve it.
Yeah.
They're a charitable group.
They were informed that, that's a one-time deal, that they have to get it in a month ahead of time.
You know,
They just didn't know, they didn't know the process.
They're a really good bunch of folks.
Just calling if I can add, they headed Saturday when sheriff had two guys, I came in, worked with the guy working, and we worked fine, about an hour and a half, so no, absolutely no problem.
Good. So can we have a motion on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support that.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. No old business, and we have a new business, but I should have done this first, but we wanted to move the police cameras up to start, is that correct?
Correct,
Chief?
I appreciate that, I'm working the fair, so I was gonna go back.
So, unless there's anybody that would object to making that move, we can just do it by unanimous consent. Does anybody have a problem with taking that item before the public hearing? If not, then,
Okay.
floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. I wrote everyone a letter. So the Armada Village, the police department does a lot of, large amount of salvage vehicle inspections. The village revenue, half of that, the police salaries, half of it is paid by the salvage vehicle money. And part of the state requirements is that the police department has to be out looking for stolen cars. And we currently use a system called Vigilant, which reads license plates of cars when the officers are driving around the village. We've had that, I think, from like 2015. The system in 432 doesn't work, needs to be repaired, it's gonna cost us at least $2,000. And we're paying $8,000 for that, which is in the budget right now. The new bill just came and I told Becky to put it on hold till we decide this. So, there's a current system which a lot of Macomb County Police Agency has called a flock camera system. It's fixed camera system. If we bought it, we'd have to buy two. We would put one on the south end of the village, one on the north end, so we get the cars coming southbound, northbound. It records license plates for stolen cars, felony warrants, stolen license plates, and also you can put special vehicles if you're looking for it. Say you had a person with dementia, got lost, didn't come home, you could put that license plate in. Next thing you know, he's coming and entering village, Armada Village, and they lived in St. Clair Shores. And I think a good use of that with a flock camera system way back, I think it was a couple of years ago or a year ago, in Lansing, the guy kidnapped his ex-girlfriend's 2-year-old and killed her. The Roseville flock camera system picked him up. St. Clair Shores ended up getting him. Like I said, we're paying $8,000 right now for the flock system.
No, for the vigilance
I'm sorry,
system.
we're paying $8,000 for the vigilance system. The flock camera system would cost us $6,000 for 2 cameras with $1,300 to implement it. So it's a $700 savings, for the first year, and then 2,000 after. We don't have to fix a thing on 432, which is proprietary equipment. Our officers, if we got this system, can just read it off our web browser in our cars, so we don't need there's no proprietary equipment needed. We've had myself, Joe Adair, and the village attorney have discussions with this. I'm going to say a couple of police departments that have, Macomb County Sheriff has it, Chesterfield has it, Sterling has it, Roseville has it, Clinton Township's getting it. We would be on basically the Macomb County system. And I just found this out that the Macomb County Sheriff's Dispatch has a notification system, so when there's a flock camera hit, like I heard one the other day in St. Clair, there was a stolen car down on Grash at Mount Clemens. They raided Clinton Township and they stopped the car at Grash. So I didn't know this. I'd have to got a little investigating that they could read our camera systems. The sheriff's department does our dispatch at no charge. I just want to be sure. The sheriff has assured me he's not charging us. I just want to be sure they'll do that. So as long as we don't get charged. Myself, Joe Adair, Jeff Bohersky have talked about the flock system. Mr. Bohersky is very familiar with it. They have it in St. Clair or Sterling Heights. So that's what I'm asking. If they're a 2-year contract, I asked them about going longer, and they said they just up their price, and if they're going to increase the price, we'll tell you. So if you wanted to extend the contract, so basically, it's much better technology. This is obsolete, the Vigilant system, and much better technology. It's gonna be wired in Macomb County system, and it's cheaper.
Question,
Sure.
chief, but you got people that are coming in, not just from north and south, but they're coming in from east and west.
Well,
And
Well, that's
don't,
another $8,000.
shouldn't sometimes our officers, I don't know if they should put a gun on it or what, but they do on the license plate to get the information under the
Well,
vigilance
the
system.
way, the vigilant system now, that the car has to be driving around and catching the car. The clock system is gonna get
Every car that comes in.
every car comes in. Now, if the village council want, we can buy one on each end and put one on, like we do the radar signs, but this is gonna be another, $6,000.
But I'm just saying that they have a way of still checking it from the car, of checking like they were doing with the vigilance system before.
If we had this system, no.
No, because the other one would go away.
Yeah,
The other
these
one
aren't-
would go
these
away.
aren't
Yeah.
cameras or equipment to go in the cars at all.
They're stationary.
You've seen them, they're like up on the
Yes, right.
stoplights and the antenna and stuff. So we don't have access to point and shoot or.
And we'd have to keep the other system, which is $8,000,
Right.
so.
And
right.
plus, it doesn't work we gotta repair this in 432 anyway, the pickup truck. Andrew was informed he's gonna be at least $2,000 to fix it.
Yeah.
The computer brains or hardware, it doesn't work, it's gotta be replaced. So, this is much better technology, and it's more expensive, and now, like I said, if the village council wants to get one, spend the extra money, I went where most of our traffic is, it's on
Let's
North
see how
Avenue.
this works. for
So are you
them.
guys how are you notified? Like if a car comes through, do you get a notification or?
You could set, when the officers go on duty, they can set their web browser up, so it's gonna send them a notification. Also, as I just found out, the county gets the notification, so I was not aware of this, I just found this out. So the county they'll hook up to our system, we'll get a notification, hey, stolen car and just coming in
Right.
Armada Village.
Yeah.
And then they would broadcast it.
Okay.
And they do that now, like I said, I heard that last week with, they had a stolen car in Mount Clemens.
Yeah.
I just think it's important to add to, your current system covers the geographic area represented by the village, right? This system, if you had a car stolen from this parking lot, you're gonna have the ability to track that car throughout southeast Michigan. So your ability to recover our residents' property
It's very
is so
high.
much greater.
Yeah.
You'll never get that with the current system.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, good point. I talked to the representative, and we have access to every other FLOC system in Michigan, other than, we can say, we don't want anybody to go on. Flint is the only one in Michigan that doesn't want anybody looking at their camera system. So, I used it, we had a missing person in Armada Village, and I called the sheriff's department, and he looked it up for me, giving me a couple locations where this missing person was, so.
Okay, Joe?
You need it. We're down to get your motion, but I'm there. Last page.
Rich, did you say we had to sign a 2-year contract?
Well, that's why I'm recommending a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to put that in the motion somewhere, Joe.
Oh, okay.
And like I said, I asked the guy, the representative about going longer, he said, if we're gonna give you a price increase, we'll let you know, that way if you wanted to extend the contract. But he didn't seem too concerned about going longer.
I think we're gonna approve the contract versus because they're not really released yet.
They just put to approve a 2-year contract?
Yeah, it's 1,300 for the first year, is that another 1,300 for the second year?
No,
No,
Just a
that's
flat,
just first
flat fee
time.
then for 2 years.
it's 6,000
For the select-
plus 1,300 for the first year to put the camera, put the systems up, and they maintain all that.
They do the maintenance on it.
And then we can take what we have in our equipment out of the car and we're done with it.
Sounds like the way to go. Joe,
Take the reason why.
I think we're waiting for you.
All right, I would resolve to approve the contract for
For flock cameras for a 2-year period.
Okay, for black cameras for a 2-year period at a, let's see, period, at a cost not to exceed $6,000 per year with $1,300 implementation fee for the first year only.
Support.
Okay, so Joe, can I have that motion, please?
Okay.
Okay, well, that's motion by Dare, supported by Belkey.
Yeah.
And we gotta have a roll call.
Adair,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Garza,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Conan.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much. I just want to add, all the taser training done. We all have our cases, got mine right here. And, we got the new radios, they dropped them off on Friday, so we're gonna use them for the fair. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks for coming in.
Be safe.
Okay, now, we need to go into the public hearing for the zoning ordinance. Could I have a motion on that?
No, you're not going into public hearing first. Do you want to discuss what it is with council?
Okay,
And
we're not
then,
going into it.
so then you can go in, yeah, I think you need to explain what the public hearing's about and then go into it.
Okay,
And
well,
then
we
we'll
got,
close it if there's no public comments.
we've got proposed ordinance changes by the planning commission. You wanna go into a little more on it, Mike?
It's massive.
Yeah.
They worked on it for a long
Yeah.
It
time.
has to do with
It's in-
cars parked in
No,
lawn.
it's several things.
Yeah.
There's,
It's several things.
yeah, if you look at the amending articles here, it's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 13, 17, 19, 22, and 23.
And
So
24.
it's pretty extensive, so you might wanna look it over before we, approve it. I think that's what we should do, we should postpone.
Well, you can postpone your approval, but we have to hold a public hearing tonight,
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
I can just say, if Mr. President, if you could, so I just wanted to compliment the planning commission as well as Becky, who put together a lot of the summary that I had to then try to put together. Some of the changes, it's gonna be frustrating when you read it, because it's literally one sentence or one word, but when you turn it into an ordinance, you have to put the whole section down and underline it. So as you work your way through this, sections will be struck out, that means it's being deleted. New text is underlined, so keep that in mind as you read it. So it is comprehensive. There are both procedural type things, you know, how to hold a public hearing, how to give notice, things like that. But there's also substantive changes, things that we have tables of uses and some pretty, much like when we did the peddler solicitor, there's some pretty old categories of uses. Some of them agricultural that are being eliminated, and those, you'll see those carry through. But it's a lot to ask for you to kind of digest it tonight. But I will say, having gone through it, I don't think, there's only maybe 1 or 2 items that Becky and I did not incorporate from the planning commission. Those were very small, you know, tweaks that we made. But other than that, I think the last substantial rewrite of the zoning ordinances was signage, and that was probably 2015. So
Yeah.
it's been 9 years, so that probably explains, Mike, the length of it, because you guys looked at it from Article 1 all the way to the end, which is the way to do it. And so this is gonna really update the ordinance and,
One of the best things
Yeah.
that they did was they restructured the planning application for residents to come in and spell it out specifically what you have to do. If you're applying for a building permit, you do this, 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 and this, have this available when you come to the meeting. There's no, oh, they're not prepared, come back again next month. So I think they did a really good job on
yeah,
that.
it's, like I said, it's pretty comprehensive. Like I said, it touches a lot of different sections. But I think if the option is to postpone it, there is a motion to postpone to the September meeting. That's alternate 2. And then what I would suggest is you're working right through it, just make notes on the ordinance, and let us know, and we'll have answers ready for you for the September meeting.
Right, so.
Or anybody's welcome to come to the planning commission meetings.
Right.
I did that, I highlighted it pink and I called Becky, Becky and I discussed
Yeah.
it, so if you have any questions,
She's very.
I know she's not the answer, but she has worked with
She's
Justin,
very close.
you know, so she did a great job answering all my questions, so if you have.
Well, and she'll do that for this because she was part of the planning
Yeah, she
commission.
was.
She's no longer part of the planning commission,
Okay,
so
she
after
was.
this, she won't be your source like
Okay.
that. But this one she is.
But all my questions were answered by
Yeah.
her, so she was
Yeah.
very
She's
knowledgeable.
Chris,
very
you could also contact Christie, she's very
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah,
But okay, now we need
a motion to open public.
to go into the public hearing.
I make a motion, we enter a public hearing at 7:30.
Support? We need support.
Okay,
Yeah,
do we have to have a
I think the first one, don't we, Michelle?
yes,
okay.
sorry. Hold on, I gotta change everybody's names here. Okay, so Belkey,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Barzik? Yes. Conan,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Adair.
Yes.
Okay, now it's open to the public. If you guys need comments or questions, you can.
Do you have any questions, public?
Yes.
And please stand, identify yourself, and
Kevin Grand, Armada resident. I'd like to speak tonight on, this is section 13.11A2, and this has to do with permitted signs. So the current language reads, one temporary sign is permitted for every 50 feet of street frontage or fraction thereof. The proposed changes, number of permitted signs, 3 temporary signs are permitted per parcel. So there's a little bit of disagreement when this item came up for discussion at the planning commission meeting. And before I go any further into that, I'd like to point out a glaring problem with the ordinance as it is. And I'd like to refer everyone to this table to the U.S. Constitution, First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right to people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Now, can anyone on this table tell me when the First Amendment ever became optional? Anybody? Time's up. It hasn't.
What's your contention, Kevin?
The reason that I bring this up, because I have firsthand experience, because temporary signs, I found out, is a code word used to go after political signs in our community. Especially signs supporting candidates of which certain members of our communities disagree with. If you disagree with the candidate or candidates of my choice, then you are more than free to go out and place a sign for the candidate or candidates that you support. Go and distribute literature in support of your candidate if you feel, well, leave me out of it. This problem can easily be resolved by either omitting the questionable section altogether or to specifically state that there will be no limitations whatsoever on political signs that may be placed on a resident's own property.
so trying to get through what all this stuff you're saying. Right now, are you saying that they're saying you can only have one sign and you'd like to be able to have multiple signs?
There should be no limit to how many signs. The First Amendment is very clear, and if memory serves, when you took your oath of office, didn't everyone on this table support and defend the Constitution of the United States? That's Amendment number 1. So are you against the First Amendment?
I don't think that's what we're here for, is to see who's against the amendment, but thank
It
you
is-
for,
it is-
for your input.
It is germane to the area that I brought up.
Your question that you think there should be unlimited amounts of political signs in a yard.
I think that there should be no limit to what
And you're on the planning
residents.
commission, right?
And again, there was some disagreement on that item, it was brought for discussion, correct?
Okay, well, thank you for your input.
Thank you.
Kevin,
I
what
think,
page is that on?
wait, Michelle, I do have objections to your statements about how we govern and restrict signs that we don't particularly agree with. I've been here almost 30 years, many of us have been here that long and longer, I've never seen an issue with that, ever. That they took out one guy's sign because they didn't like you, but the other guy could have 3 signs.
Yeah, I've never seen anything
Well,
like that.
at the time, there wasn't another guy's sign, that's just it.
I guess I don't even know
Then it
what
would
you're
just
saying.
fall into the sign itself. How can you say that it's because of who's on that sign? You have nothing to compare it to. If they took out this sign and left this sign, then I could see some objection, but
No,
there's no credence to what you're saying.
I'm just letting you know that, yes, I was notified that there was a problem,
Because you had so many, is why you were notified.
and there was a problem why.
Okay, well anyhow, you've given your input that you'd like to have be able to put as many
More than
signs
3.
as you want. Okay, that's something you might wanna think about,
Well,
when you're reviewing this.
yeah, and again, this is likely to come back, so we, but just a couple quick comments. The way that, whether it's constitutional or not, the way it's applied doesn't make the ordinance, the way it was applied to you, I'm gonna assume you're correct, that it was applied to you in your terms, it probably, that's the application, that doesn't make the ordinance unconstitutional. If somebody discriminated against you for signage, that's different than saying the ordinance is bad. So there's no code word on temporary signs. The Supreme Court, and you can write it down, I'll get you the site. There was the largest or biggest Supreme Court decision was about 3 years ago, the Reed case.
Reed versus City of Gilbert?
Yeah, and
I've read
so, okay, so basically what that says is, you can't regulate signs by the content of the sign. So that's why we went to one category. We don't have political signage, we don't
Right, it
have,
doesn't say political,
we
it
don't
says
have
signs.
any, so we just have one category, Kevin, and that, to comply with Reed, we had to, it wasn't a code word to try to manipulate the content of signage, it's quite the opposite. We had no choice but to say, there's only one category of temporary signage. So that applies to political signs or any
Yard
other type
sales,
of signs,
garage
so.
sale.
So that, so that being said, I'm not an expert on constitutional law, but this went through the planner. I've never seen, I've seen ordinance signs successfully challenged, but it's not, like, it almost seems like you're arguing that any limitation is a violation, and that's not what the Supreme Court has held. It has to be reasonable, but they've never said a municipality cannot regulate signages, which is, I think, what you're advocating for. So if you can come up with some authority that backs that up, but Reed could have been the Supreme Court's opportunity to say, you cannot regulate temporary signage, and they didn't say that. It's gotta be reasonable, but they didn't say a municipal is without power to regulate signage.
Well, I can address that real quick. That case dealt specifically with a religious sign with a church, if memory serves. And yes, you're right, it is difficult to find relevant court cases. I can tell you that there are relevant cases recently of municipalities that shut down residents for trying to express their First Amendment rights. And there is a city that I know very well, they got hit with a very sizable lawsuit they lost because they shut down what the residents could say at a public meeting. So,
Well, public meeting's a completely different
Agreed.
standard under the Supreme Court.
Agreed.
So, like I said, we're not shutting anybody down, we're allowing temporary signage, and the content of that sign we're not regulating. So, that's, I just wanted to make it clear, that's why we switched to the word temporary signage, not because, we were trying to figure a way to get, to a better regulation or to be arbitrary in our application. It's just, that's why we gravitated. And you read the case, in that case, that's why the Supreme Court said, you can't regulate based on what's on the sign. You just can't do it. So we don't look if it's a political candidate X or a political candidate Y. We look at a temporary sign. Okay? So more to come. I mean, we'll debate this again in September, I suppose, but.
Kevin, what's a citation, 13.1?
I'm sorry. 13.11A2.
Okay. You good?
I'm good.
Are there any other citizen comments on the zoning ordinance? Okay, if there are none, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to exit public hearing at 7:40.
Support.
This
Okay.
doesn't need a roll call. No roll call.
No, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. We're out of the public hearing.
So you want me to make a motion that we're gonna postpone the,
That would be great,
Okay.
till the first meeting in September.
okay, I'll make a motion that it be resolved to postpone consideration of ordinance amending articles 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 13, 17, 19, 22, 23, and 24, the village zoning ordinance to the September 9th, 2024 regular meeting.
Support.
Did you get all that?
Yep, it's there. You read it.
Okay, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Motion's approved. Okay. Planning Commission appointment. We have an opening on the Planning Commission
And
and
we
we.
actually had somebody turn in a letter.
Oh,
So, we got a letter from Patty Lemieux asking to be put on the planning commission. So it's up to you guys to make a
And I
motion.
did not twist your arm.
and I would recommend that we do this. Can I have a motion,
Yeah, I'll make
please?
the motion. I make the motion that we resolve to comply with the president's recommendation to appoint Patty Lemieux to planning commission to a term ending December 31st, 2025, subject to the appointing meeting the qualifications set forth in chapter 2 of the general law Village Act.
Support. Motion by Shaw, supported by Dare. All in favor of the motion? Aye.
I would abstain.
Patty, just so you know, the reason that, it's only till 2025 is because you're filling a term. They're usually 3-year terms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Construction Board of Appeals appointments.
I'm just gonna explain this quick. So we have a construction board of appeals. We have 3 people on it. Clive was one of those people. In all fairness, I was supposed to have you guys do this in April and I missed it. So we're going to appoint them now. But we only have 2 to appoint. So after talking to Jeff, because I wasn't sure how the Construction Board of Appeals works, because quite frankly, they have never met since I've been here. So I really don't know what they, I know that they hear appeals, but I don't know if we had to have 3 separate, like, did we have to have a builder? Lyle was an electrician, so do we have to look for an electrician now? He sent me what you have attached in there that talks about what the duties are, and I was told to, I believe Jeff told me, that other communities, we could also, we can borrow people.
That's what I was gonna tell you.
So,
We did have, we borrowed them.
I just don't know, so the third motion is to either have me, to have me advertise for it, or reach out to other municipalities to see if we can get another one. I believe, Jeff, that says that it really doesn't have to be a plumber, a builder, and an electrician, so,
Familiar with the trades.
yeah.
Ideally, it is. but-
Ideally,
but
sure.
There's, again, a person, they know the code, so there's one state construction code. The plumber knows it because they have, they know the whole code, and so does the building inspector. So it would be great, you'd like to it, we did try to do that, Lyle was our electrical.
We were successful for many years.
For many
but-
years, but it's not an absolute requirement that you have one electrical, one plumbing, one building, so. But I do like the option of reaching out to another village,
Oh, 2025.
or another community that could do so.
We've done that.
And sorry, guys, the date is 2025, not
It's wrong, I was
2024.
gonna
I just-
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
did it already
No,
pass?
no, it's until 2025.
Okay.
So, could we get a motion to appoint Steve and Robin to the
I'd
construction?
make a motion then to appoint Steve Nickel to the Construction Board of Appeals to a term ending April 21st, 2025, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in section 62.7 of the General Law Village Act, Act 3 of 1895.
Support.
Support by Clark. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Okay, we didn't have to have a roll call.
No, none of
Okay.
this, no.
Motion's approved. Go ahead, one on Robin, please.
Make a motion to appoint Robin Karas to the Construction Board of Appeals to a term ending April 21st, 2025, subject to the appointee meeting the qualifications set forth in section 62.7 of the General Law Village Act, Act 3 of 1895.
Support.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Motion's approved. Okay. Okay.
Want to give it a shot?
Oh, there's one more,
There's one more.
there's one more.
Oh,
I did, and I
Okay,
can talk
yeah.
about it.
Then make a motion to allow the clerk to advertise for the open position on the Construction Board of Appeals and/or to reach out to other municipalities to inquire whether a member of their Construction Board of Appeals is willing to serve with the village.
Support.
all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Motion's approved. Okay, now. Is this, yours, Mike?
It is. So at sewer plant, we have that big computer down there, and it's called a SCADA system that analyzes everything. Well, it doesn't give you any historical data, so if you're not watching it, you can't rewind. You can't hit the pause and rewind and see what happened overnight or what caused the situations. It monitors the SBR tanks. Sorry, it says here it allows 12 hours of data, nothing more than that. Having the history and not having the history makes it difficult to determine what adjustments need to be made. So they had the quote from Utilities Instrument Services, Inc. to perform the necessary programming so that we can get the historical data. They are the current alarm monitoring system vendor and is a sole source, so I just wanted you to know that part. So this is what F&D suggested, the quote's attached, and it does give us a yearly subscription to the service called Cruise. This was in the budget for, I think, $6,000, Ann, and it's been on the list for a little bit. It should have been done when we built or upgraded the plant, just got
Well, they
missed.
didn't realize that it
Right,
didn't have that feature.
right, so it kind of goes back to
Yeah,
that process. So if there's no questions, I'll make a motion, but it's up to you guys. Do you have questions?
I'm just
Yeah.
curious, just because I've got a similar system and mine does track historical. So is this just a function of the system that we have, or? I mean, I'm not debating it, I'm just kind of curious, because mine does.
A function, I don't know what you mean. It's not there, I don't know why it's not there.
Yeah.
Older
You
model,
know,
maybe?
I mean, I can track alarms of a water treatment plant
Right,
over time, so.
and that's what we want to do.
Yeah, no,
Right.
I think it's a smart thing to do.
And it's a mobile thing, so they'll have it on their phone, so the Jacob could be sitting at his house and he can see what the alarm is. Now they just don't have the ability.
Yeah.
15 years ago was even more archaic, and you know they had to come in for any blip. They just got like a beep on their
Beeper.
phone
Yep.
or whatever.
Come find it.
Now at least they know a little bit more, but we're trying to get them to the technology that they deserve now.
I've been very happy with UIS and what they've done for the water side, so I would certainly support this.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
make your motion, Mike.
I'll make a motion to approve Utilities Instrumentation Service Inc. quote 241327 in the not to exceed amount of $5,035, which includes SCADA programming as well as the annual cruise subscription fee that is needed for the existing alarm monitoring system, and allow the sewer commissioner to sign the quote on behalf of the village.
Support.
Okay, motion by Stern, supported by Shaw. We need a roll call on this.
Stewart,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes.
Adair,
Yes.
Parsec.
Yes.
Okay. Building inspector, construction board of appeals, pay increase.
Dennis had brought this up at a recent meeting. He's filling in as our building inspector right now because we don't have one. We've got an advertisement, we got, things put in the windows, I think there's something on the website. But he said, they're vastly underpaid, so, I don't know if I know it wasn't within my time, but, so currently the village pays the electrical, plumbing, mechanical inspector 75% of the permit costs once a permit is finalized, which would make sense for the building inspector as well, because the building inspector just gets paid a flat rate. So what we're just asking, the last time, I think the pay was, it's 2004.
Right.
So I think, oh no, that's for the other one, sorry, that's for the construction board of appeals. But anyways, that's what we're asking, is just to pay the building inspector 75% of the permit cost once the permit is paid out, just like we do the other. It'd be consistent, be more consistent than what we do right now.
There's no questions, can I have a motion here?
I'd make a motion to set the pay for the village building inspector at 75% of the permit cost to be paid once the permit is closed out.
Support.
So, just a question on that. Well,
Probably one I can't answer.
will the cost of the permit cover all
Yes,
monies?
it's all the permit costs covered in the
No,
pay.
okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, there's no other questions, make the, do we want to, I guess this is just a,
We don't need to
Yeah.
move on.
all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Okay, the other motion is to increase the construction board of appeals pay. And this is just making it consistent with what they make on the planning commission. So,
Which is also underpaid.
which, so, it's just, we're trying to get everything as uniform as we can. And again, the last time they met, I think, is the year before I started, so.
So could I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that it be resolved to increase the construction board of appeals pay as follows. Chair $60 per meeting and members $40 per meeting.
Support.
Okay. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Okay. Now, upcoming agenda items. Okay, no more upcoming agenda items at this time. Moving on to, are there any other citizen comments? Okay, no citizen comments, council comments. Mike?
I would like to thank Ann for investing the sewer fund monies. I see that there's a nice little interest there, starting monthly, so I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It went noticed.
Thank you, Ann.
I just wanna thank Mike Shaw for a wonderful concert series this year. You always do a fantastic job. And the weather was, we were pretty lucky, and it was beautiful, so good job.
Thank you.
And the Soggy Bottom,
And
what is it
whatever.
now?
The soggy bottoms.
Yeah, okay, the Soggy Bottom sounded great last week.
They did, it was
Okay,
fun.
We made it to another year.
We did, it was great.
so any community events coming up? Of course, the Armada Fair. Anything else?
Is there anything else, like,
Well,
that fairs out there right now?
It's over.
Can't compete.
so if there's, no other, events there, I would entertain a motion.
Oh, that's me. I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:54.
Motion by Starrett,
Support.
supported by Clark. All All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's approved.